Hi, I'm Stephanie Tsai. Welcome to the Toyota Solutions studio. I'm so pleased to be joined now by Evgenia Kara-Murza, who is the wife of a Russian pro-democracy activist who believes that he was poisoned twice by his political enemies. So this is going to be a serious conversation. Evgenia, first of all, I understand that your husband was in a coma just a couple of months ago during the second poisoning. How is Vladimir doing health-wise today?
He's doing much better. He's recuperating. I mean, it's going to take time, of course. And he's still doing physical therapy, still getting back to normal. He's a workaholic, so he's back at work, at doing what he has been doing for years. But he definitely looks better than he feels. And sometimes I look at him and I know that he needs a break. According to the doctors, it's going to take at least a year to fully recover. But we already knew that because it's not the first time it happened. And last time in 2015, it took him over a year to recover because the complications were much more serious than this time. This time he was treated by the same medical team, and they sort of anticipated every step and thus could avoid many of the complications Vladimir had suffered from in 2015.
And I understand you actually played a really critical role in getting these medical people in place and getting him out of Russia for treatment. So can you talk a little bit more about the role that you played in getting him the treatment he needed? That it might have saved his life, I understand.
Well, I believe that doctors saved his life, but it's true that we were very lucky with that. Vladimir called me very early in the morning, Moscow time, to tell me that he was not feeling well at all, and that his heart was racing, that he had trouble breathing, and it was 5 a.m. Moscow time. And I wrote to his doctor, the doctor who had treated him in 2015, and the doctor responded in a matter of minutes. And he said that, yes, bring Vladimir here. I'm here with the medical team, we're waiting. So we were very lucky, that Vladimir was treated by the same medical team, that the doctor was there to respond only 5 to 10 minutes after I had written to him. And that they're just real professionals.
Yeah, a lot of people, Evgenia, in your position, your husband's been poisoned twice, would choose probably to stay in the shadows, to stay out of the spotlight, for fear that they would become targets. Why are you speaking out? What is driving you to do that?
Well, honestly, I believe there are moments when you simply cannot keep silent. You cannot. Otherwise, you just won't be able to live with yourself. This is a man that I deeply respect and admire. We've been married for years, but nothing has changed. He's the same man I married all those years ago. So now, to tell him to stop would be at least hypocritical on my part. And I know that he truly believes in what he does. He believes that he can be a champion for change, and he is a champion for change.
And it doesn't sound like anything, even the threat of assassination, could stop him.
Because he's a true Russian patriot. He believes that he's fighting for a better Russia, for a better future, for the Russian citizens, for his children, because Russian is a big part of our culture. And we want our kids to be able to go back to Russia without being afraid for their lives. We want them to be proud of their country, the country where their parents come from. Yeah. We want them to be proud of that.
How do you view your country today, and what do you think are some of the solutions to ensuring that the democratic reforms that your husband has been talking about for years actually happen? What can be done?
Well, I believe that people have to stand up for their beliefs. They have to defend their rights. And we saw this happening, March the 26th. a series of protests swept across Russia, affecting more than 80 cities and towns, even small towns, small places where nothing of the sort had ever happened before. We see these young people taking part in protests even though they know what might happen to them. Because we've seen that happen too.
Yeah.
You know, the 2011-2012 protests were followed by the Bolotnaya case. And opposition activists are still serving prison sentences under this case. So these youngsters that went out in the streets to protest on March 26th, they know what might happen.
Yeah.
And they still chose to stand up for what they want, for how they want to see their country. They still chose to stand up for their rights.
Yeah.
And this is important. And I think this is very heartening. And I don't know, I choose to be hopeful, choose to be optimistic about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you're doing. And I wonder if that courage becomes collective at a certain point. What kind of support did you receive globally from other women maybe at this summit, at Women in the World, that bolsters you and makes you want to continue to support this fight?
Well, I think that, with what happened with Vladimir, I've received a lot of support. A lot of support from people from everywhere, from around the world. And that was so, I knew I was not alone.
Yeah.
I just felt that I was not alone, and that mattered a lot.
Yeah.
That mattered a lot. As for the Women's Summit, Women in the World Summit, I believe this is an incredible platform that empowers women to speak out, to raise questions that are somehow avoided by governments or by society. It helps them bring these questions out in the open, ask them loudly, and seek for solutions together.
Evgenia Kara-Murza, thank you so much for joining us here in the Toyota Solutions Lounge.
Thank you for
We wish
having
you
me.
and your husband the best of luck.
Thank you.